What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Hold the Husband Podcast. I'm your host, Terry Duran. I got both of my co-hosts back on the line with me tonight. Bear with us for a very exciting show. I got my man, Jay Bravo. What's going on with you, bro?
Nothing much is going on, man. Looking forward to once again another great episode, man. Looking forward to the guests tonight here. But want to quickly remind you, you can catch us on TikTok as well as subscribe to us on YouTube at Hold Us a Podcast. And those who are interested in promos and shout outs, choose a DM on IG at Hold Us a Podcast as well as emails at holdusapodcast@gmail.com. All right, T.
I also had a man from the Chi-Town. I got my man SD in the building. What's up with you?
Nothing, man. Excited to be back. Excited to be back
Sir.
here chopping it up with you guys, man. But let me give a shout out to Brother Soul Productions for always keeping the background audio fresh. And I want to remind you all to donate to the Hold the Husband podcast on Cash App and PayPal. All right, T.
I want to remind everybody that y'all can catch the audio playback of the podcast every Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on thecore94.com. Tonight's episode is titled What's Really Outside? And we're just going to be having a discussion about some of the challenges that men and women face with dating in 2025 and give a real perspective on what's out there. But y'all know how we do around here, man. We like to discuss stuff that we've seen trending or on our timelines. So we got a couple interesting topics this week. This first video is a video of a podcaster or streamer, Academics, talking about how much his financial status influences his dating status. Let's take a look.
And I'm like, you know, the funny thing is when I go to Shade Room, y'all are attracted to only bank accounts. I'm richer than 95% of rappers. So by that definition, if y'all are attracted to bank accounts, I'm the top 5 baddest nigga out here. Pause, that's how bad. But it is what it is. Y'all women date bank accounts. You don't date men. You date credit cards. You date gifts. You date Chanel's. You date, like you hear these chicks talk about Chanel and Louis like you would think these are real people. It's always about what a man has, not how he treats you. Not one woman in this comment section would say, well, was he a good guy to you? Did he emotionally? None of that. Oh, you don't got a bag? You still dating broke niggas in 2025? It's so sad. It's so sad. And then we all kind of like argue why men look at women like they're purchasable commodities, and then we look at, as men, we wonder why women look at us as walk-in wallets. Again, I'm not talking about all women. There's some really good women out there, and I'm gonna be honest with you, y'all women are just in the minority. We don't know where to find y'all. The club is filled with all Aries and Jada Waiters and Ruby Roses. I'm sorry.
All right, now, obviously most guys don't reach the success and financial status that Academic reaches, so he is able to, you know, smash chicks that he see on his timeline and has the resources to, because we know it's not his looks and his personality and his charm that's going to get him success with women. But see, this shows how realistic guys are about it. Guys observe the dating market and what women respond to and just kind of get in where they fit in. So he's lucky and fortunate to be in the financial realm where he's talking about that he can drive Lamborghinis and Rolls Royces and those type of things that will automatically get you a certain type of woman. What y'all think of the video?
I think that calling yourself one of the top 5 baddest dudes out here is insane. I mean, come on, man. Like, that's the most
he thinks highly of himself.
Heard. Yeah, but I mean, you know what? He knows why, though. That's the thing that Terry talked about. Like, hey, being realistic. Like, he knows why. He knows it's his money because he's short, he's out of shape, and his personality is kind of like a woman from a lot of stuff that I've heard from him. And really, if he didn't have that money, I believe he'd be an incel. He'd be an incel, one of those guys that's involuntarily celibate because he couldn't get coochie. I mean, I think he struggles to get it now, and he got the money. And I think that it's kind of an issue for him. So, Jay, go ahead. What was you going to say?
No, I said, you know what? I think he probably saw it from both ends, you know, because at one point, you know, he didn't have the money. Because, you know, if you think about it, he built his platform kind of from the ground up. You know, he started with doing, you know, music reviews and then kind of parlay that built it from there and became a household name on YouTube here. So I think he probably is talking from both ends where, back then, hey, they didn't want him. Now, he's making this kind of money. He has a certain level that, people know who he is. You can walk around and recognize him.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, he
about a decade ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say he used to do the music reviews like in the magazines and stuff like that. It would be academics at the bottom or whatever. But you're right, people, especially when you in the plug in the industry in New York and all that, it's easy to finesse that into social media or digital platforms. But what he's talking about is a very common thing. We've heard it throughout time. Tupac talked about this on his first song, how used to diss me, but now they ask me if they can kiss me. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys always remember how women treated them at first, and then how you get treated after you have success. Obviously, like I said, most guys don't touch millions of dollars and don't become celebrities or whatnot. But you can be in today's era, have a online personality or online presence, and people do respond to it in real life. Now, how you, as an individual, how you use that, it largely depends on your character, your values as a man. But the opportunities are out there, and so what he's talking about is very tangible as far as getting women.
Yeah, Terry, you out in Houston, you out in Texas. Y'all had a very famous rapper out there that said, "Back then they didn't want me.
Mike Jones.
Now I'm hot. They all
on me, right?" What man, like, hey, listen, I don't care what level of success you get to. I don't care if it's you a big multi-million-dollar rapper, or now you become a $250,000 plumber. Man, listen, your dating options change with the type of money that you earn. Your earning potential for men dictates his dating options, and men understand that. So that's just a point that he's speaking to when he said that I'm one of the top 5 dudes out here. He's talking about his finances. Yeah. He's not talking about his looks. He's not talking about his height. He's not talking about his shape or his personality. He's only talking about his finances. And so I think that guys like him that got this money, when they weren't that type of guy out there, they're the ones that really mess the game up a lot of times out here. Because guys like that are more likely to pay for bad chicks to be around them. Not even just bad. A lot of these chicks don't even be bad like that, but they'll pay because they're not used to getting chicks. Where if a dude that grew up getting women, then he got money, he like, man, I ain't paying no chick to be around me. It's her privilege to be with me. I ain't gonna pay her to smash. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the attitude that type of guy.
Well, I guess that's going to come up in today's topic. But I was about to say, just based off how high school is now and just how the girls are interacting socially and when they're around guys ain't really having opportunities to be able to bag chicks and talk chicks. You know what I'm saying? Like we used to. Like, talking to a girl was like a every night occurrence for a lot of guys. You know what I mean? Like, especially guys that are juggling women. So, I mention it all the time about the skill set that you get that develops just from having one-on-one conversations with girls and learning how to read the room, learning how to, the ones that let you touch their thighs and the ones that are comfortable sitting on your bed and all these type of things, like where you gotta gauge when to make your move and when to turn the conversation sexual and all those type of things. I don't think the guys in this generation are really getting those opportunities
at all. I think for the way it is now is everybody's DMing each other through social media. Like, I mean, mind you, they probably go to the same high school or maybe another high school within the area, and they all follow each other on their social media page, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, and they're all probably just DMing each other as opposed to talking to them and exchanging numbers here. And I think that's probably the new way of shooting their shot here at these women.
Yeah, but you ever been outside where a bunch of young folks is at and seen what they do?
Yep.
This is what they do right here. They
on their phone.
They own their phone.
Or they'll be in a section, like they'll just be in a section smoking hookah or something. And
I'm talking about these young, like they on their phone 24/7, and the phone is a deterrent for a lot of men with approaching a woman. So it's one of those things where
and having a crowd of women.
But men know that if they got money, the women a lot of times will approach you. When you got your money together, you ain't gotta go to the women no more when you got that cash. Now, if these here chicks over here say, I ain't never approaching a guy, listen here. These other women over here, they absolutely will. And they will let you know they ain't got no problem dealing with you. That's why, you know what? When you go to other countries, right? When I've been to other countries and women like you in other countries, they don't care. They don't know what you got. You ain't flashing nothing. You outside in some flip-flops and some Speedos. Like, you just outside. You know what I mean? And they like, yo, yeah, I like you. And they come and talk to you without all of that, without all the extras. That's a thing.
You think that's because they know you're American? You think that has
I was wondering the same thing.
That may have something to do with it. I'm not sure, but they just like you. You know what I mean? It ain't like they coming up asking for something. I ain't got to pay a bill to talk to them. You know what I'm saying? When I was out in these other countries, the chicks wanted to take me out. I wasn't staying there. I don't live here. They're like, no, I don't need your money. None of that type of stuff. I take you out. Matter of fact, I don't need your money. You keep. They felt some of not. Don't get me wrong. It's another subset that does go for that. But I'm just saying, a lot of them do be like offended that you'll pay for something, or because they don't want to be seen as that type of chick. You know what I mean? I think it's a little more genuine in other countries with things like that, and with physical things also. They don't go off of like, oh, your height, or you a big guy, or your nose is big and stuff like that. They don't do that as much as we do here in America with people.
Yeah, I would say it seems like American women have a lot more reasons to curb or dislike men than women in general. But the problem with I guess this kind of discussion or this observation by guys like academics is it causes guys to do a lot of things that they wouldn't normally do to try to get money. That's why a lot of guys are into scamming and selling drugs and doing these type of things, because they feel like that's the only opportunity, not only for women, but for a certain lifestyle that the American dream is really not attainable through hard work. At least most people don't view it that way. Thanks to social media, the real insight about trades and different things like that is coming to light. So if you are a young man, I strongly recommend you get it. You don't need to go to college, man. I went to college and I can attest. I would have much rather been in SD's shoes where I'm a Houston electrician. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so funny. I was talking to one of my partners, about this, just in trades in general. And I'm in insurance, so I'm a large loss adjuster, so I write large estimates. But majority of it is HVAC, $20,000, electrician, $22,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is every time. So these dudes are making a killing out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, so without the expense of having to pay for student loans, etc.
Yeah, I remember, man, when I was young, when I was like 20, 21, I had Mercedes motorcycle. People thought I sold drugs. They would ask, man, what you do? You sell Chicago? I bought a Mercedes S550, and I put some rims on it and all that type stuff. And I would meet girls, and they're like, what in the world do you do? I'm like, I'm an electrician. They was like, you sell drugs? And I'm like, no, I don't sell drugs. I'm an electrician. Like, you know what I'm saying? I had motorcycles. I bought a building. Like, I had stuff. And people was like, what's going on? So now, you know what I mean? A lot of electricians, depending on the type that you are making top dollar. I saw a post yesterday where the chick posted she making $90 an hour as an electrician, and she's in California, in San Francisco. And people are like, what? And I'm like, yeah, like, it's the electrician job where I wanted to do one. It was $115 an hour. I didn't get it. It was a helicopter electrician where you on the outside of the helicopter and you checking power lines and all that. But it's a lot of lucrative trade jobs out here where fellas can make nice money, and then you get to dictate the dating market and how it goes. You just have to play it smart. You can't be out here just throwing your money at these chicks frivolously because they pretty and all of these here things, because that's how you get got. That's how you become a sucker, and that's how you be sitting online.
Yep.
Yeah, looking silly.
Welcome paycheck.
For sure.
All right, man. Looks like we up against the clock. We finna move. We finna move to our next topic. I'm tripping. This next topic is something that I saw, man, and it was the reaction to it that kind of made me want to discuss it. So there was a snippet of the restraining order that DDG attempted to get against Halle Berry, and he was talking about how her behavior and her attitude towards his profession of streaming. So let's take a look at. So it says, unfortunately, this was not an isolated incident. Petitioner consistently expressed discomfort and hostility toward my work, particularly when it involved collaborating or filming with other women. She refused to be a part of my content and often used emotional manipulation or conflict to prevent me from filming with female colleagues, despite the professional nature of my work. In contrast, I was expected to accept her participation in intimate on-screen roles, including kissing and close physical contact with her male co-stars in films, without objection. This double standard created ongoing tension and further reflected the controlling and unequal dynamic in our relationship. So what he described is insecure behavior. And I've noticed over the years that anytime you talk about women being insecure, it creates the most hostile reaction that you can imagine. You know, it's so crazy because women will list insecure behaviors and that they don't trust their men and that they're afraid of being cheated on. But if you describe it as insecure, they'll deny that they're insecure. So I don't know if it's just that word or you know, that creates so much problem. But what he described is a woman that is insecure, and it is a double standard, because we're not talking about a dude that's just, you know, saying I should be able to kiss chicks on screen or do romantic skits. He's actually a streamer that makes millions and millions of dollars streaming. So he does have to have female guests on and do things like that. That don't mean he's trying to smash them or whatnot. But to me, this just shows an insecure / abusive woman and the type of behavior that men experience all the time with women.
Yeah, man. You know what? I knew that everything he had on there, I knew it was true. I knew she was nuts. And I seen it when he had his son on a stream. I didn't know nothing about the other girls. I recognized this when he had his son on the stream, and she didn't like it. She didn't like it at all. She said, you can't have your son on the stream. And then he was like, how you gonna tell me I can't have my son? Like, it's my son too. Like, da da da. After that, boom, here come all of this here mess with him. He beat me up and all this here. He chipped my tooth, even though that tooth was chipped. She said on another video that it was done somewhere else. So she must have forgot she had that out there. Like, it was, then it goes to tarnishing his name. And now when he comes out with actual receipts, because she had none, she had no actual receipts of him doing anything. It was just, look, he did this to me, like a he say, she say type of thing. But he come out with actual text messages, took his weapon, said she was going off herself, all of these here types of things. And the women was like, well, he did it to her.
Blame him.
Yeah, it's almost, but this is what I'm saying. This is why you have to pay attention, and I said this here on the live, to who it is that you're dating. I don't care if it's a situation like this.
Sometimes you can't see it till it's too late, though.
No. I mean, and I don't mean like that part, but I'm saying like through social media, right? Because you get to see how other people think. You get to see how other people think. So for instance, if I like a woman and I'm talking to this woman or I'm thinking about talking to her and I see her under a comment saying, hey, DDG did this. I stand with Halle. Now, you know, she didn't do that wrong. Even though it's right there in your face that she's clearly wrong, clearly did these things and clearly have issues, but you don't want to, if you can't hold somebody else accountable when it's clear as day, because of how you feel about it. I know you won't hold yourself accountable in a relationship. So therefore, I'm off you. So that's what I mean about paying attention to people
That makes sense.
that you're dating
That
or
makes-
want to date. Yeah, because they
No, that
tell
makes
on
perfect sense.
themselves. So that's like,
Yep.
and one
Yep.
more. It's
Go ahead,
kinda,
Leslie.
it's not DDG, but it's the offset them situation, right? So when I say pay attention to somebody and who you're dating. When Cardi B had out there ahead of time, before Offset all this, how she was out in the dating world. I used to rob dudes. I set them up. I sell coochie.
Yep.
I set them up with
Drug them.
trannies. So yeah, so the trifling nature was out. It was there. So now you overlook that, and then you marry her, and now you get this trifling behavior right there. So my point, what I'm saying is, you have to pay attention to who you can pay attention to ahead of time before you get with them and date them, and then cut these people off, because how they think drives their behavior. And when you can get a glimpse of that, it's best that you pay attention to it.
All right, I'm done. Man, okay, you said a whole lot there. No, I get what you're saying. So it's basically, it's like this. How you do one, it's kind of like this. How you do one thing, it's how you do all things. You see them, under this particular post, you can see the comments under, Shade Room or Spiritual World, where they had it at, and they're sitting there trying to defend this behavior, right? And with her, it seems like it's more of like a control thing. She wants to be able to control the relationship and control what he does.
Yes.
And I think those red flags like that are usually there from the jump. So I think he should have saw that. You know what I'm saying? Now with these women, like her and Cardi B, these women are probably dynamite in bed, right? And that's cool, but don't make any permanent decisions with them, especially when you have a kid and get married to these women.
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously when it's the super attractive celebrity woman, these women are kind of idolized in our culture because they always got on the best. They always got on diamonds. They always luxury, this and that. So those women kind of warp the reality system for a lot of women. But these behaviors, if you know people that have kids and baby mama drama, this is the kind of stuff it entails. Her feeling like it's her child and she has more control. She can tell you what to do and who you can have her child around, and all these type of things that make a man's life more difficult, a lot more chaotic and stressful, strains his relationship with the child, makes it more difficult and expensive for him to have time around his child or whatnot. But the problem with this scenario is she's famous. She's a Disney princess and all this type of thing. So she's going to have worldwide support from women no matter what she does. And we know that that's unfair to men. We know that there are double standards. But the fact that that his restraining order gets denied is more proof that the system don't really care about what men have to deal with.
Absolutely not. And even in his case, she had videos out previously that I saw where she's talking about how toxic she is, how argumentative she is. You see, I don't know if y'all seen those, how argumentative she is, because
people think I'm this, people think it's sweet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. How she want to go back at people because of her birth sign and all this here. Look, when you're a celebrity, you can do homework on other people that's celebrities. Like, you could do more homework kind of maybe than the average person, but a lot of people got these things out there where you can do homework and be like, nah, I don't want to deal with no chick like that, because she was like, even her sister was laughing when she was talking about it. She was like, oh,
and I was gonna say, let me just based off her sister, right? I gotta post all the sexy pictures and I gotta be provocative and I gotta do all this. She's bad. I can totally understand dudes smashing. But the dude that tries to wife her sister is going to very likely put himself in a situation like this, where you got a baby mama that's still being a thought and still, you know what I'm saying? Like, and she's gonna have the same support and the same women supporters that justify her behavior. So it's hard to resist attractive women that are famous, man.
One thing about our community, and we have always, done this for a long time, is that we support dysfunction. We support dysfunction so much that the people who don't support dysfunction is drowned out.
You hate it.
Especially,
you a hater.
And I see it more, I'm not going to even lie, I see it more on the side of women, because most black men don't support the gang banging, the shoot 'em up, and the drill culture, and the deadbeat baby daddy stuff that goes on out here. Most black men don't support that, right? We don't, as a whole, and men acting like fools out here. But on the flip side, most of our women support baby mama culture. They support the I don't need a man bad attitude and behavior. They support domestic violence when it comes towards a man. They support those things. Like, I'm a girl's girl. I'm a ride with such and such. Like, they stick to each other a lot. The majority of them stick to each other, even when they're wrong, that it drowns out the women that don't agree with them. Because even when the women agree with them, this here is what they'll tell you. The women that agree with the men get singled out, ridiculed,
pick me,
insulted,
you
and
this and
pushed
that.
off of social media. Yes, they get kicked off of social media, like, because they don't agree with the majority. It is amazing.
It's the same way for us refusing to pander. Like, if we pandered, if we had a podcast where we talked about pandering and all the bullshit that's out there, we would be a lot more popular. You know what I mean? Like, so
no question. We had
those are just realities that come with talking about the things women do, talking about the reasons men don't want certain women. Those are all things that are gonna get your page flagged and make you not go live and all those type of things.
But you know what? I think what these people understand, non-function, even the panders, they understand that women are the biggest consumers. So they know if they can sell a product or service to them and they're willing to buy it, hey, they're gonna ride that till the wheels fall off there.
Yeah, that's why. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's sad because none of that actually helps move things forward or gets us towards a better place in actual relationships. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's why so many of our women are struggling in the dating world. Because the men are
even the beautiful
this type of stuff. Yes, the men are seeing this type of stuff and saying, man, I don't want to be bothered with this chick long term. And it ain't just us. It's the world and how you're portraying yourselves and supporting this stuff. I mean, think about it like this. The vice president of the United States brought out 8 hoes for her presidential debate, her presidential campaign. She brought out hoes to do whole music to the women at a presidential campaign. That's how much that the culture, the whore culture, the negativity, and all of that stuff is celebrated by our women, where the men are sitting back like, damn, I can't believe this. Tell me I'm lying. And so therefore the men are saying, the men that are eligible in our community, they're saying, okay, I want to get married. I want to have a family, but I'm going to go over here and do it, because they're being supported for the most negative and destructive things known to man by each other, more than themselves, the women, and the gay men. Those are the people that support this nonsense that going on. Yes.
All right, man. Looks like we are up against the clock. We're about to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be bringing on our guest for the night, and we'll be discussing our topic, what's really outside, where we're discussing some of the challenges that men and women have dating in 2025. You are tuned into the Ho to Husband podcast, and we'll be back in a moment.
Hi, I'm relationship coach and author Terry Duran, and I am pleased to announce that my book, It's Not That Complicated, is finally available as an audiobook. So if you don't like to read, or you just don't have time to read a paperback book, this audiobook is perfect for you. You can listen to it while you're in your car, while you're at work, etc. In the book, I break down how husband material men think and operate in regards to sex, love, and relationships, and I provide real quality insight on how husband material men approach dating. The audiobook is available on audible.com and on iTunes. All you have to do is go to one of the websites and search for my name, Terry Duran. Go download your copy today.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Ho to Husband podcast. We have our special guest on for the night. We've got our man, DG Bags. What's going on, bro?
Man, I'm blessed, bro. I can't complain even if I wanted to, man. How about you?
Oh man, we good, man. We appreciate you for taking the time to come chop it up with us. We know you out here doing a whole lot in the city and on social media. So I think we should be able to have a real interesting conversation with the fellas on, you know, what's really outside in the dating market and what the dating scene actually looks like. Before we get started, man, can you let the audience know a little bit about you, what you do, what you got going on?
Well, in short, I'm the CEO of the Core 94 radio station, which is like the #1 independent station in Texas. We did a lot, been here over a decade. Just actually had our 10-year anniversary. Actually planning on doing a big festival and things like it. Actually took over #1 during the pandemic and securing our partnerships and things like that. I got into radio to further my music career. Prior to that, I was a rapper, musician, guitarist. I ghostwritten many songs for a lot of people. I won like all the battle raps, all the competitions, and I got in the radio to further my music career. Then when the pandemic happened, the world stopped and my dream came true. Took it to #1, BET, Lifetime, Nickelodeon partnerships, which led me to being a manager and a publicist and one of the top publicists low-key in the city, possibly in the state. Clients like Raquel, the Pretty Beast Miller, all type of partnerships, working with, children's museums from Shaq's Big Chicken and all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm actually re-releasing. Finally got the okay to release my show, The Quarantine Chronicles, which is long, in-depth interviews with everybody from LeVar Ball to Black
I
China
do remember. I do remember the quarantine. That's what's up. That's what's up. Well,
Quarantine Chronicles is crazy.
Yeah,
appreciate that, my guys. That was the whole vibe, man. So the first thing that I wanted to ask y'all, with y'all being single men and moving in today's climate, what's the most effective way for single men to meet women in 2025? I'll start with you, DG. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, it's different for a lot of dudes. Well, I say myself, I mean, TD, you know me personally. So, I recently just had a body transformation. You know what I'm saying? I got into bodybuilding and lost 50 pounds and put on muscle and into symmetry and things like that. And
you
the
lost
tactics
50
that
pounds?
I lost 50
didn't know it was
pounds,
that
man.
much, dog.
Man, it's lost 50 pounds, bro. I was fatter than a bitch. I ain't even know that, everybody like, man, Bags, you look different. In my mind, nah, bro, for real. I always thought I looked the way I looked in high school. I always thought I was lit. Now, I wonder why I had all type of, bitches playing on my top and shit. I was like, damn, I wasn't the same nigga in the face. So, but now it's different. Now it's live. Look, I'm gonna tell you this, bro. This is real, and I can talk with you. You see all my other interviews, I gotta be professional and things like that. But with us fellas, we gotta be real because we gotta grow as one. That's the only way that we grow. You know what I'm saying? Now, let me tell you this, TD, man. In my lifetime, I've been called handsome, cute, even good looking before. I ain't never been called a fine ass nigga. This shit hit different. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, when you walk in the building or you walk in the spot, the niggas see you first. You see them look at you, then look at their chick. It's like, oh man, I ain't even on that like that. In my younger days, I would revel in seeing the world right now. Oh man, this is. Whew, Lord have mercy, man. I went through a whole village, man. Yeah, man. So the best way to get women, I'm gonna say #1 is get in the gym. If you walk in a building, you walk anywhere. You can be in a grocery store, a library, your son's school. You're Julian's dad. Yeah, how you know that? Oh, because that's the dad with the build that they was talking about. You know what I'm saying? I just came from my son's graduation. You know what I'm saying? So that's the number one way to get women, man. It shows that you got respect. It shows discipline. That's everything that a woman wants. Security, that you securing yourself, that you care about something, that you dedicated. That's the first thing you do, man. So care about yourself first. That's my first opinion.
Okay,
that's what's up. What about you, SD?
For me, I'm gonna say get your finances in order. Getting your finances in order, man. We talked about this a little bit earlier. When you get your finances together, and I ain't talking about no nonsense out here. and the women will come to you when you get your financial situation together, because one thing that women want more than anything out here is security. They want stability. They want safety. He's talking about one aspect of safety in your physical appearance, right? It looks like, hey, you can take care of yourself. Women love men that are bigger than them in weight, taller than them, whatever the case, because they feel protected, right? The flip side of that is feeling protected financially in a home, and not having to worry about where the next meal coming from, or do they got to work extra hours because of this and that. Like, so they want to feel that security. And when you are that guy and you got your life in order financially, they will come to you. You ain't really got to do a whole lot of work at that point. It's just up to you to pick the right woman that's not only there for that part of it, that's also there for you and your well-being also. So I would say getting your money together is a major key.
Fair.
Yeah.
Sure.
What you think, Jay?
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback with both what they said. Is just getting yourself together, both, you know, from a physical standpoint, but also like a mental standpoint, having a level of, you know, emotional intelligence, being able to communicate effectively, in addition to, you know, having your finances together. I think that's an effective way as well.
Being a hoe,
that'll
get you these chicks out here.
That too.
Like, I'm just saying.
Well, yeah,
being a former hoe,
learning how to talk and all that stuff, like that'll get them. I guarantee it.
Those are all skills that you have to develop. But if you already in your 20s and 30s, you kind of behind the 8 ball on things of that nature. Like we were talking about earlier, having the gift of gab, being able to sit and chop it up, have conversations with women where it's not just you ask, hey, what's your favorite color? You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be able to say things that make them laugh, that make them remember you, that make them discuss you on the ride home and things of that nature. And so those are the kind of things that separate guys from one another. You know, I would always be real big on trying to be, because if you're the one that she's thinking about on her way home, you more than likely gonna be the first person that she responds to when you text or call or whatnot. But the reason that I wanted to get y'all's opinion is because I was out recently at a club get together where it was like 40, 50 people in the club total. But from what I could see, I counted, it was 38 women and it was 5 men. And we were all in like different sections and whatnot. All 5 men were either married or with a woman. So it wasn't I didn't see no single dudes like working the room, flirting, interacting with women or whatnot. And so I was just thinking like, well, damn, I don't see nobody exchanging numbers. I don't see no dudes, you know, buying drinks or doing none of those type of things. So I know there's massive opportunity for guys to meet women, but from what I see, it was kind of a ghost town as far as single men are concerned. Is that what y'all see outside?
Why you ain't call me? What you doing? I know I ain't in Houston, but still, you could have FaceTimed and just scanned the room. I'm like, all right, stop on Shorty right there. But yeah, that's what you see out here. You see it online on social media. The women like, yo, I went to this singles event, this singles mixer, this dating thing, and it was all women. It was like 2 nerds in there. That's it. Where the other guys at? So yeah, that's what's out here, because guys typically a lot of guys don't go to that stuff, and when they do, they be guys that most of the women don't like, because the guys that women like, they have no problem getting women. They don't have to go do that type of stuff. So, you know, it is what it is.
You know, you're right about that. It seems like, you know, when any of those kind of singles mixes, that it's always more women than men, and especially out here in Houston, the women, you know, outnumber the men totally out here. So you're always going to have an uneven, you know, an unbalanced number there.
I want to piggyback on that, because I want to piggyback on what he said, because that's exactly what I was going to say. You know, Houston, it was 9-1. I think it's 12-1 right now. Yeah. And this is what I used to tell my ex-girlfriend. You know, I used to be like, you gotta appreciate a nigga like me that love you, that a nigga that's at home every day and shit like that. Women, like I say, I number men 9-1. Half the niggas is gay, half the niggas is in jail, The other half of the niggas is married. The other half of the niggas is underage. Ain't no men out here. That's why I don't see really the problem with guys like getting girls. That's why girls don't have a problem sharing or being side chicks or things like that, because they like, at least I got this one, right? Because ain't no men out here, you know. So to your first question, everything that each one of us said, mental, physical, financial, all those things are everything that I embody with my thing, Power Vanguard Academy, because you have to have all these things, you know what I'm saying? You can't have one without the other, you know what I'm saying? And you get then you make your choice, you know. I think that was I can't remember. I think it was Patrice O'Neal years ago said men hunt what they can catch. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of dudes think they into plus size women, but that's really the only bitches that you can get. You know, when you saw for real, you don't know. You know, I'm just being honest right now. You know, I was a nigga TD, you know, Mr. Gun, whatever you want me to call you, that be like, man, I don't eat pussy, man. I ain't put my mouth on no bitch or no shit like that. But then I realized I was fucking bitches that I really wasn't attracted to. I was just fucking bitches that I could get. You know what I'm saying? Once you start fucking bitches you like, damn, I want to eat on this hoe. You see what I'm saying?
You start eating. Hey, look, you start eating booty.
Man, for real, that's all you do. You start
like
calling and texting, making jokes about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, I just saw these new M&Ms, right, man? They would be right eating out your ass, man. You know? No, I'm just joking. Nah, but serious though, you know what I mean, though. You know, I used to think that I had to stop by the store, get me a honey pack, and da. When you fuck a bitch you like, man, your shit be stone hard. You know what I'm saying? You put the work in, man. So, yeah.
Well, it's funny that you talk about the putting your work in part. Because you know, I talked about my story before. Like growing up, I was kind of naturally athletic and naturally fine, so I had never had to deal with being fat or losing weight. So right. I fell off like right after I graduated. Man, I got fat as hell too. I got up to like 250 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just saw an old picture where my whole face was round. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that transformation of going from fat as hell to back in shape, you do, like you said, the looks, how you get judged and how you get viewed different. It makes a big difference. I can't imagine the transfer having social media and the platform that you have now. I cannot just imagine the boost it does to your dating status and your dating options. So single guys, get in the gym. He told you from the jump. And I can, you know, I'm married, but you can still notice, if you former hoe, you can still notice when women find you attractive. You know what I mean? Like, so that never goes away. It's just how you respond to it that changes. So yeah, I would definitely.
Look, and just one quick thing, and going to the gym, it does everything that these fellas say. It says it subconsciously teaches you to put yourself first. It builds discipline, it builds confidence to really act on your ideas of getting money, and you know what I'm saying no to people, and then having standards. It's just like the foundation, you know what I'm saying? Like the
time nucleus. To think.
Yeah, for real, man. You know what I'm saying? It's dedication, man. But everything these guys said was spot on, for sure.
Yeah, and I just want to say this real quick, because you said it's like 9 or 12 to 1 in Houston. Man, look, in reality, it's like 30 or 40 to 1 out here. In any of these states. And let me tell you why. All the things you mentioned, cool. Dudes in jail, because they already outnumber us by a couple million, like 3-4 million anyway. But then you talk about the guys in jail, you talk about the gay guys. Then what do women do on top of that? Women further shrink that number because they only want to date a dude that's 6 foot. They only want to date a dude that make $100,000. They only want to date a dude that's a Sagittarius, a Leo, or a Cancer. So they shrink this. They shrink they pool down so much that the guys that fit the bill are smashing the majority of the women. They doing it so much, the women done came up with apps and pages on Facebook and social media saying, hey, are we dating the same guy? Because, you know what I'm saying? These here dudes,
they got one for you.
And because you wanna know why? In Houston, the STD and STI rate for women skyrocketed almost 300%. Yeah. But for dudes, it only went up like 60 or 70%. What does that tell you? That tells you that most of these women likes the same guy, because the other dudes don't even register in their mind when he 5'4", when he 200 pounds at 5'4", 5'5", and he overweight and he out of shape, he's socially awkward, he wear Velcro Skechers, he on the chess team, he on the debate team. Like, them dudes, he work at GameStop. They don't even see these here dudes when they outside, but they see that attractive dude that got his money together. That's why you got to become that guy, so that you are in that pool of men that they want to be with. Because the guys that they don't want to be with, them dudes ain't seen a titty that wasn't on a TV screen or on a phone in years. Yeah, they ain't seen it in years. They ain't smelt no coochie in years. So I'm just
all right, fellas. I know we talked, several times about how when you meet a new woman, or for men and women, part of your social media is used to gauge your date worthiness. And so I wanted to propose a scenario to y'all. So say y'all met a woman through a friend of a friend. Your partner had a barbecue, pool party, whatever. You met a chick there, and y'all exchange numbers or whatnot. And y'all talk first day or two, and everything's cool. And then later, when you do finally see her social media, she got a bunch of thirst traps and her ass pitching or whatnot. Where does it go from there? Does that immediately get her cut off, or do you discuss it with her? How does that go from there? I'll start with you, DG. What are your thoughts on that scenario?
Nah, if you gave me play, you got action.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, you got action.
So her social media wouldn't change what category
you chose me.
It wouldn't change that.
You from H-Town, you get chose. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it is. I always been like that anyway. I don't like nobody that don't like me. So you can be a doctor, a stripper, a good girl. If I get chose, I get chose. And a lot of the times, them be the ones that are the ones that you can get. You know what I'm saying? You know how most times, if you talk to like a bad chick or you meet her, she'll tell you, she'll be like, man, when I go to the store and I just have my pajamas on, or I have rollers in my hair, like all the dudes try to talk to me. But when she look like she do on social media, jazzed up, nobody talk to her because she intimidated. A nigga might open the door and call her ma'am or miss or something like. So they don't really be getting so they don't even get they don't get no action in person. So them be the ones that you need to holler at. You know what I'm saying? And you talk to them like regular. Don't be queening and putting them on a high horse. Not that you like downing them, but they need to know that you a peer. You know what I'm saying? That you ain't somebody that they gonna earn off of in a certain kind of way. You know what I'm saying? That you ain't a fan.
What about you, SD? How would you handle that scenario?
It depends on what the pictures look like. It depends on how revealing they are for me. That's what it do for me. Like if you turned around and you're just taking pictures, you know how they do when they turn around and they butt facing the camera and they looking on. Yeah, but if she got her areolas out, she got a camel toe pulled up in her shorts and nah, I ain't gonna be. You gonna go in one category. That's a sex only category. I ain't gonna material, I'm not gonna. Yeah, you mattress material. I'm not gonna take you serious. But if you got some pictures that's kind of, you got a little cleavage, you got your cleavage out a little bit, you showing your booty. Now that's something that I might talk to you about. How you know what I'm saying, if I think she a dope chick, and see how she responds then. Like, oh, well, maybe you right. It's probably not the right look. Then cool, I can work with that because you wasn't out here showing everything. You was just a little bit revealing. Cool. But if you out here, man, you got a link in your bio and you putting double destroyer dildos inside of you on OnlyFans, ain't no way. I'm not going to take you serious. But you know what I'm saying? A lot of guys is going to put you in the sex only category. So it all depends on how the pictures are and the attitude behind it once I actually mention it to shorty. If I see her in a different light where I might want to, talk to her on a different level. Jay, what you think?
No.
That's fair.
But yeah, first,
No.
same kind of like what you said. First thing, if I initially meet a woman and I have any kind of interest in dating her, I'm looking at her social media first to see what kind of pictures does she have provocative photos? Are they in good taste? Like if she's wearing a two-piece bikini and she's on vacation somewhere, that's a pro. But if she's sitting there, wearing a G-string thong bikini, bent over and everything, like you said, areola showing, like you said, mattress material, I'm not going to take her serious and just go on to the next year.
But what if she really thirsting for game though? You know what I'm saying? What if she don't know no better? She don't know no better. You know what I'm saying? She looking for guidance. You know what I'm saying? This is all she know. And then she talk to you, and then you talk to her, and you find out like, oh no, such and such. You never like, man, my homegirl when I moved out here, and she had her OnlyFans, and she told me this is how we get money, and I saw that this is a true story too.
I guess that's it. If you dealing with younger chicks, that's the only way that I
no. Well,
even older chicks.
This even older chicks.
Yeah, now this is an older story. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm just giving an example that, you know what I'm saying? The point I'm trying to make is she really was a good girl. She just didn't have no guidance. You know what I'm saying? She hadn't done it, but those were her pictures. That's how she was getting her thing, her OnlyFans and things like that as well. So I'm just saying, if you just at least talk to her, don't judge the
Gotcha.
bitch.
I see what you're saying.
I can't even rely. I've been married about to be 20. That's crazy. This week will make 21 years actually.
Man, good man. That's a blessing, bro.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
So, but I can't even imagine the like you said, you meet a chick. Because I remember those vibes. Like I remember back in my day when you met a chick at a party or you got somebody's number, you thinking about shorty, like, oh man, old girl from the party, you remember your conversation, you kind of replaying what happened, how you met, and all those type of things. And so, I remember those feelings of you having a crush or being anxious to talk to the chick, on the phone or whatnot. And so where you can go to her page and you can see how she turn up or how she get down, you're right. It is something that should at least warrant a conversation if you really liked her, if the first conversation passed the vibe test or whatnot. But unfortunately, if you, like you said, it's only a couple clues that it'll take for you to instantly be in mattress material.
Smash
you have to link.
yeah.
I was gonna say, because most guys ain't gonna be as lenient as you, DG. Most guys are gonna judge.
Now, I know everybody went from hoe to husbands, but we gotta be human. We gotta be human about this too. That she started off as mattress material. Now we all know this. Every time you have sex with somebody, y'all exchange a piece of each other's soul. That's why after the 10th, 8th time and shit, you find yourself kind of feeling the hoe or whatever, And let me tell you this too, TD. You've been married for a long time and you say it's different. I do remember that feeling because, I come from the days of, man, we checking our pockets from our numbers at Astroworld. And it was cool to have your own phone line and stuff like that, before it went to social media where everything is beautiful. When you got your heart broke, when you had to find out from your cousin or somebody from the neighborhood that girl that you think is a star, you be getting trains ran through and shit. You know what I'm saying? You her boyfriend at the other school. So now let's keep it. Let me tell you something else. Coming up, TD, all of us, when we was coming up, remember, hoes was either fat, ugly, or both. It's a different game now. Now hoes are beautiful.
Well,
they smoke.
We got thought culture.
They bisexual. They mixed. It ain't what it. Back in the days, remember we had a slang. We was like, man, she a star. Oh man, Beyonce, she a star. So now girls that are stars are the hoes. Remember back then, you got you a star. The first thing a nigga do was trying to nut in them, get them pregnant, trying to marry them, and shit like that. Same thing. Look, TD, he laughing. My wife was a star, man.
I know no plenty of dudes that was like that.
All your wife friends are stars. So that they wife and the wife forgot that we come from the wife to star era. Now the stars are hoes, man. So it's a totally different game, you know what I'm saying? And they fighting for dick space because ain't no niggas,
We're fighting for dick culture
in this day and age. That's what it is.
That's insane. But hey, you know what? It's this chick, man, that's been trying to get at me, yo, and it's like, man, when I found she used to do porn, and I just can't be like, and now like she seems like a really dope chick. But it's like, nah, man, because
Don't end up like Joe Smith out here.
Darius,
like
Eddie Winslow.
That would be heartbreaking, bro. You meet a chick and you find out like a year down the line.
Bitch, you was fucking Jack Steed.
A 30-man gangbang. A 30-man gangbang. I can't get past a 30-man gangbang, sweetheart. What you mean you did the glory hole? What are you doing? I'm supposed to overlook that and say she a good girl now. What you mean?
It's on the internet.
Girl,
it's on the internet. It's on there forever.
I can't, man. I can't bring her around Terry, man. I can't.
Is she black?
Chick like that. Yeah, she black
Dog.
and fine too. She
Now,
about
let me ask you a question. Now, her porn, did she do it with black or did she do it with the white boys?
everything, bro. When she told me, and I listen to me.
No.
And I looked it
See, now,
up.
let me tell you something. Y'all
Listen
think
to
I'm
me.
lenient. I'm gonna tell you where I'm not lenient at. And I learned this when I was real young, sneaking watching porn. You will see the black girl. She fuck totally different in the black movies than she do with the white boys. She be in the black movies. She be acting like she can't. Dude be trying to nut on her face. She be turning and moving and shit like that. That same hoe being there with the white boy when he do nothing. TT boy and then So I was like, I learned that back then. You know what I'm saying? I was like, if she do a movie with white boys. Nah, man, nah. Hell no.
When I say everything, I mean everything. I was like, I had to look this up. I'm like, wait a minute. Now, are we talking about a movie or two? Man, listen. I went to the hood and it was 47 pages. I'm like, oh my God. And some of the stuff I saw, I was like, yo, it is no way. But she's like, yo, I'm a different person, and I get it.
You ran through.
You gotta draw the line somewhere. All right, man. It looks like we up against the clock, man. We're about to get up out of here. DG, man. Before we go, can you let everybody know where they can find you, where they can reach your content?
Yeah, man, you can find me on Instagram at DGBags. That's at DGBAGGS. And make sure you follow us at For Skits and Giggles. That's our new comedy sketch show that'll be coming out in the fall. It's gonna be so many celebrities, so many impersonations. We had SNL, we had Living Color, we had Dave Chappelle. Let's put it all together. With our sense of comedy, man, it's gonna be fantastic. So y'all be sure to look out for that. That's at For Skits and Giggles on Instagram at For SKITZANDGIGGLES, man. And you can follow me at DG Bags, man. I appreciate you guys so much, man. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing, man. I'm proud of you.
All right, before we go, man, I want to give another shout out to my man, Brother Soul Productions, for keeping us laced with our background music. I want to remind y'all to continue supporting the podcast through our Cash App and our PayPal. Fellas, SD, J, man, I appreciate y'all linking up so we can get this episode knocked out. And DG, man, I definitely appreciate you taking the time to chop it up with us, man. I really enjoyed the combo. This has been another episode of the Hold a Husband podcast, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.